everybody doing?
Welcome. We're the Yateses, and this is Holy Matrimony. For those of you who are new, we come together every Sunday to share encouragement, stories, and just guide others along the way on this road of living the married life, the family life, as parents as well. We have children. And we just want to encourage people to live a whole life as husband and wife. And or if you're single and you want to learn more about being married, or like I always say, if you're used to be married and you want to be married, or you used to be married and you don't want to, we still want you to live a whole life. And I think in marriage and out of marriage, there's always lessons for everyone. So we just get together to chat, and we'd love for you to join in our conversation. Leave your comments below. If you have ideas or thoughts about questions for us that you would love for us to explore, during our Sunday nights with all of you, we would love to hear from you. So you are more than welcome to give us that feedback.
This lighting's looking a little dark to me. I'm sorry. No, it looks like, am I blocking your light or something?
Yeah.
I can't block your shine.
It's okay.
No, I need the people to see how beautiful you are. Yes.
We've had somewhat of a long weekend. Not really. Well, we did work on Friday and Saturday, didn't we? Outside?
Friday, no, because it was raining, remember?
Oh, that's right.
It was raining, so we didn't do anything outside on Friday.
But Saturday, spent all day outside, and it wasn't that warm. It was like 50 degrees maybe.
Yeah.
But we got our garden expansion done.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
So yes, if you know me, you know that I am a new gardener, new budding gardener. Last year I was amongst probably the millions of people that dove right in with what we call pandemic gardening, as a result of being home during the pandemic, which is still happening.
Right.
Many people last year took up gardening, as a way as a hobby, something to explore, something new. And I was one of those people, and started out last year with just one area. We do raised bed gardens, and so we did one last year. Eric built one for me last year, and I fell in love with gardening and had such a wonderful time, and got to share the experience with our kids, and we ate like just yummy, fresh, delicious vegetables that we would pick from outside. Straight off the
bring them in, wash them up,
yep.
cut them up.
Cucumbers, beans, tomatoes, cabbages,
zucchinis,
yes. And I love zucchini, right, Toya? That is my favorite vegetable. I have probably a little obsession with the zucchini, and we grew some last year, and it was just fabulous. So we knew that I was going to want to go bigger. Actually last year when you built that one, I helped you pick it up and move it.
Yeah.
It was just 12 inches deep, 2x6 by 8s. And I could help him pick it up and move it. But this time he built it 18 inches deep. Yeah, I attempted to lift up one end. Wasn't happening. But our neighbor, our neighbor said last year, he knew that I was going to expand. And I have to go over there this year and record some more, because he had us over, me and my daughter, to look at his garden. It's just so beautiful in his backyard. And so he knew once I saw that, I was going to want to do more, which was even before that I knew that. So he knew that I was going to expand. So he told Eric last year, after the growing season, he said, I will help you. He said he would help us. But of course, my husband is, quite the perfectionist. And, sometimes he doesn't, he's not, what's the word? You're not quick to accept help.
Yeah.
So
even when people say like, just let me know, I'll help you.
And he was literally like, this is not going to be easy for you. If you're going to build her more and dig, you're going to need some help. I will help you.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, we'll see.
Right. So building them wasn't the problem. That wasn't a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, he got that done. But then once they were put together.
Yeah. Putting them in place. I put one of them in place, though.
Yeah. So I wake up Saturday. We get up Saturday, and I'm like, okay, let me help get breakfast for the kids, and then I will come outside and I will help you. So I am done, and then I look out the window, and he already has the garden bed flipped up on its side, trying to push it across to the spot. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
why did you like?
I just wanted to see if I could do it.
Okay, is that a guy thing?
Maybe,
no, I think women do that too.
Maybe, I don't know.
So he is pushing.
I was pulling it. I tried to push it. I couldn't really do it pushing it, but then when I pulled it, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So then he's pulling it, and I can see that it is like kind of, you know how you push or pull like a table and like the legs bow. Mm-hmm. So like he's pulling it, and I can see that the wood is bowing. And I'm like, he better not pull these screws out.
Break the wood.
I mean, I think that garden bed for sure had to be at least 300 pounds.
I'm not good at estimating that.
I was about to say that.
It was heavy though. It was heavy, but I don't know about 300.
It was heavy, y'all. It was too heavy for one grown man to be trying to push and lift himself. So then, thankfully, our neighbor, did he come home or he walked out his garage?
He I think he was doing something in his yard and then he stopped.
So he heard the commotion, number one, and he came around and was like, basically, did not say I would help you. Why are you doing this by yourself?
He's like, I'll if you need help moving that other garden bed, just let me know and don't be shy about it.
Yes,
don't be shy about it.
So he literally went in his garage and he like pretty much just came right back out and came to our yard to help him move the other one. Yeah. And it was so much easier with two people.
Yeah.
So that is a lesson, sometimes things are easier when you don't do them by yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
But
no,
there's
but
not always
no, but
there's nothing wrong with seeing if you can do it.
No. I said sometimes things are easier doing them. I didn't say everything.
You gotta see what you're capable of. You know what I'm saying?
No. So thankfully, our neighbor came to help and helped him lift the bed, the garden bed, and get it in the ground. And then, on top of that, we are looking at the garden beds and we're like, "Whoo, these are pretty deep."
Yeah,
they were about 30% deeper than the one we had last year.
Yeah,
and so we were like, "Ooh, this is," and then we had two of them, so that was gonna be a lot of money purchasing garden soil to fill them. And he was like, "Oh, we can go to the compost and see what they have." And so he took his own vehicle, his pickup truck, and he went in the house and got his own bins. And he made 2 trips to the compost by himself. Our neighbor did. Yeah. Filled up the bins, and like I had some, we had some pots that he took with him. He went by himself and filled up 4 big bins and 6 like 10-gallon bins full of soil and compost, and brought them back to our house, and Eric and him unloaded it. Then he drove with Eric 3 more times. Trips, 3 more times to fill all of the soil in those 2 beds. And so, I mean, talk about being grateful for just people who still do things out of just the goodness of their heart, because they can, right. And because they want to be helpful, right? Like, we didn't ask him, like, "Hey, can you take us? Can you buy us some dirt?" Or, we didn't even ask. And he just immediately was like, "No, I want to help you guys. Like, let's go." And then that was like the crazy thing. I was like, "Oh, like, he is for real. Like, oh, no. You guys stay here." Because we had to still do some work on the ground. He was like, "No, you stay here. You guys get everything ready so that when I come back, like we can pour the dirt in. So he went by himself twice. Yeah. You know, no benefit to himself, nothing, you know, he's not going to get anything. Well, he will get, you know, will trade vegetables, but, you know, no immediate benefit for himself other than knowing that he did something good for someone else. Right. And so that just like really, you know, that just really blessed me because I was like, he is just the sweetest person. Yeah. And so that was, you know, Eric worked really hard, you know, to get that done. But
I'm glad it's done. I'm glad because we thought we were going to have to carry it on to, you know, this week and do more, go back and get more dirt and go, you know, Menards and do more and more stuff. But we were able to get it all done on Saturday. So. Yes.
And kind of like
I like that.
Yeah, the planner, executor, perfectionist in you also was having some trouble sleeping.
Yeah, like the night before, Friday night. I mean, it wasn't like rocket science or anything finishing this job, but just the anticipation of like finishing the project, like, it kept me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being able to get it done completely was really good.
Yeah. Toya said she loves that God provided us with the home that includes the perfect neighbor. And I absolutely agree.
In many ways.
Yes. Yes. Throughout this past year, honestly, like I'll go back to almost a year ago now, George Floyd's death. And, when even before that, we've been very neighborly with each other. Like all the years that we've lived here, almost 4 years?
It'll be 4 in August.
Yeah, we've always spoken. He's always said hi. Like we knew that he had a garden. He'd always give us tomatoes. You know, just we're always been friendly. But of course, last year, you know, when everything happened, you know, the world became smaller for us. We live in a, you know, predominantly white suburb, right outside of St. Paul. There are other people of color in the city, but not in our immediate, like, vicinity, neighborhood, like, the houses around us. And, I mean, we definitely have had more neighbors that are all of our surrounding neighbors have been very nice and very friendly. But, of course, when that happened, like, you could hear a pin drop, like, down the street. You know, it was just, like, just eerily quiet. And I mean, I'm sure people just had so many thoughts. I mean, of course, all of the protesting, the looting, everything, all that was going on. Like, and we're literally, y'all, I mean, we live in the Northeast Metro. So we were not,
looting going
we were
on
not
here.
near. I mean, we do live outside St. Paul. So, I mean, there were other places, but like, I mean, we didn't even hear helicopters, nothing like, but you know, he said something to you, right? Well, okay. It was that same week. So that same week that George Floyd was killed, that following weekend was our anniversary.
Oh yeah.
And we got a very, okay, I'm just going to say it. We got a very, I believe, racially biased letter in the mail from an anonymous neighbor, basically complaining about actually what is natural prairie grass, Minnesota native grass growing in our front yard, along the curb, because we have this really steep slope and it's very hard to mow. And the previous owners grew the prairie grass to avoid not having to cut it.
Yeah.
Honestly, y'all, I didn't care. But you know, y'all, I mean, if you live in the suburbs, you already know people trip over the littlest things.
Yeah.
And of course, aesthetically, for some people, they didn't like it, even though they don't pay 1 red cent of this mortgage and property tax.
Come on now.
But you know, people that ain't got no business will always have something to say. So somebody sent us a letter basically complaining about that and like insulting us, saying that, you know, we must not care about our self-respect. Y'all. Yeah. I'm telling you. I mean, it was just, and mind you, this was on like May 29th, 30th, like either the day of our anniversary or something like that. And this is also
Right
this is the
after.
week of
Yeah.
all of this happening, all of this transpiring, all of just everything. So this person was very intentional in when they sent this letter. So that's what makes it even more nasty, is that they had the audacity to send us something like that week.
Right.
We had been living here for 3 years.
Yeah.
That grass been there for 3 summers. All right. Like,
Yeah. They basically had to put it in the mail like right after George Floyd was killed.
yeah. Like a day
You know what I'm
after or
saying?
2 days after.
Yeah.
To send, and they did mail it. So that's
Yeah.
others, just like for real. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't even just come down. Anyways. But, so we had that. We had just, you know, our grief over everything going on with our community, everything. And so you can imagine, like, how you feel, how a person would feel. You feel so alone, you know, watching people drive by, walk by. It's like, oh, are they the ones that sent the letter? Did they send the
Right.
letter? Did they? Or was it one of these friendly neighbors that literally talks to us every day or every time we see them? Were they the ones that sent it, you know? And it just, you know, it got under our skin for a minute, but we prayed for them. Like, we literally, we sat outside.
That night at our anniversary.
It was our
yep.
anniversary. So we got that letter that day. It was on our anniversary we got that letter.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
right. Yeah.
On our wedding anniversary. And, you know, because of that week, everything that transpired, we couldn't go anywhere. We were going to go to a park and just have dinner, and we got to the park and realized, oh my gosh, there's curfew
just started.
in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So we had to leave. So we just ended up coming home, sitting out in the back, and we lit a fire. And we held hands and we prayed for our neighbors. We prayed for all of our neighbors. We prayed for, you know, we prayed for their safety. We prayed for their well-being. We prayed for whoever wrote that letter. We prayed for their minds, that, you know, those who didn't truly have a relationship with Christ, that we would be a light and we would be a witness to them, that to the love. And like, we really prayed ourselves out of that negative
Anger.
thinking, that anger. Because, okay, before that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention it, but you came, we got around to it.
Okay. So before that, when we did get the letter, your girl was heated.
Yeah.
Like, heated. And I went out to the front of my house where they, you know, made these accusations, and I recorded a video, and I was snapping off in that video. I wasn't swearing. I came close, but I went off in that video. And it's funny because some of my neighbors was walking down the street and I didn't care if they heard me. But after I was going to post it, you know, on social media. But after that, I was just like, you know, the Lord was like, don't do that. You know, and we've been in situations before. You may have heard us share about when we were in full-time ministry together and experiencing, you know, adversity.
Yep.
Experiencing attacks. Experiencing attacks. And in Eric, especially with you, like, the Lord told you, I am your defender.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to go and engage with those people who are being ignorant. I'm your defender. And he was like, he did. He changed those people's hearts. He caused them to come back and apologize to us without us having to say anything. So in that moment, you know, we realized, okay, we're going to pray for these people, because anybody who behaves in that way, they do need prayer.
Yeah.
I mean, you do. You need prayer. You need to really understand the love of God. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who believe themselves to be Christians who behave that way. And so we pray for them. We pray for all of our neighbors. And I mean, literally, it might have been the next day. Nope. Yeah. It might have been the next day or that later that week. I was outside. One of our neighbors, she was walking down the street with her dog, and we've had said hi to each other. Our children go to the same school district, and because of the pandemic, we hadn't seen each other because we hadn't been walking our kids to the bus stop. And so, you know, I said hi to her and how you doing? And then she said to me, she said, how are you doing? And I was like, oh, no. She was like, no. How are you doing? And I was like, oh, like, you really mean that. you mean that. You recognize that, like, I'm a white woman and I'm asking you as a black woman, with everything that's going on right now, how are you doing? And we ended up just having like an amazing conversation. Her family goes to a church that used to be, their pastor used to be a mentor of ours.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Pastor Jim. Like he used to be a mentor of ours. And she just really shared like the work they were doing to really understand what was going on, and to really show compassion and to pray for our city. And, you know, one of the things she said to me was like, you don't owe me anything. Like, it's not your job to explain to me or teach me or like make me understand. It's my job. And I was like, you're right. You're right. And, you know, so like after that, then there was like the guy who was picking up across the street, the health van. Oh, maybe you weren't out there. So I might have been in the driveway, and the neighbor directly across from us, their driveway faces the front of our house, and there was somebody there to pick up his wife, and this black man, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, your lawn is beautiful."
Yeah,
and
I did start getting compliments like out of the blue, like
by random strangers, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, your lawn is so beautiful. This man said, I feel like I could just lay down in it and go to sleep. But wait a minute. The crazy folks that, you know, decided to type the letter, they said our lawn looked like we ain't had no self-respect.
Yeah, like it was hot garbage.
Yes. So then,
somebody, I don't know. Yeah.
Right. He was a stranger. Then our son's teachers from middle school came to visit because they hadn't seen him the last few weeks. And his special ed team wanted to come and give him a couple things say their goodbyes because he was no longer going to be at that school either. So they came, they chalked up the driveway and had bubbles, and we came outside. And guess what them 4 teachers said? Oh my gosh, your yard is beautiful. Thank you. Because I mean,
that's what the old folks used to say or meant when they said the devil is a liar.
Come on now.
The devil trying to tell us
right
was horrible and we don't have self-respect.
Yes. And it was like, and I think there was like another person who said something too, and so it was just like, okay. We prayed for our neighbors, and then God was like, I got you. Like, and then our beautiful neighbor next door, you were outside, you were doing something, and he came out and you guys were talking. Cause I remember I was inside and I saw you guys talking, and that was kind of like the first time since everything had happened that you two had like really talked. Like we might have seen them, but that was the first time that you guys were talking. Yeah. And what happened?
I mean, I don't remember specifically what he said. Maybe it's just because I'm tired, but but it basically, and I knew he was cool. You know, we've had a lot of conversations over the few years we've been here, but I basically learned that like he understands more about this race issue that America has than a lot of Caucasian people,
especially men his age.
Yeah, and he used to work as a probation officer, so he's seen good and bad from everybody. Yeah. So he knows it's not about race. That because there are some neighbors around here that I don't like how they're tearing up stuff. I don't like that George Floyd died, but I don't like that they're property damage. I'm talking about property damage instead of understanding that, hey, this man was killed. I mean, yes, I don't condone property damage, but this man was murdered on the street. Like, let's talk about that. That's what caused all this stuff. Yeah. So, he basically, in so many words, reassured me like that, like he's cool, like, he gets it.
Yeah. And he probably was somewhat aware of, I don't think he know exactly who sent us the letter, but there is somebody, like, there's a house down the street that has a Blue Lives Matter sign, right?
Yes, Blue Lives Matter. There's a guy down at the Trump, used to hang a Trump flag.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, the one on the other side of him.
Yeah, and he's, our neighbors lived here for almost 20 years, so, he has a good relationship with a lot of neighbors, and I think he was aware of whatever it was that had been said about the yard, and he told Erik, like, hey man, like, if anybody says anything to you, like, you let me know. And I was like, okay. Like, oh, you know, like, he was like, I am not playing. But and even since then, like, we've had some really, I mean, even this weekend as we were and last week when we saw them, just of course with the verdict and everything, we continue to have conversations with him and his wife about just everything. And, you know, kind of going back to the comment that was made that, you know, we're grateful that God, you know, provided us a great neighbor, you know, given that, you know, we love our house. And we know that, like, when we moved here, it just felt like this is ours. Like, we knew this was a house for us. And when you do that, you do take a gamble because you don't know, like, who your neighbors are going to be. And that's anywhere. That's not just, oh, because we are black and we moved to the suburbs. We could live right smack dab in the middle of the city and still encounter horrible neighbors. Like, we did. I mean, we used to live in St. Paul, and we used to have, like, the party house next door. So it doesn't matter. It's not about, you know, necessarily where you live, but, you know, we are grateful that as we raise our kids, that they can see that type of relationship, you know, us having relationship with our, you know, brothers and sisters that are black, that, you know, TTs and uncles and all them folks, like, they see that, but they also see these meaningful relationships that we have with white people in our community, because they have to see that, and white kids need to see that too. They need to see their parents. They need to see white people in their community have relationships, like real meaningful relationships with people from other races and other cultures. Like, it can't just be like, maybe it'll happen on accident by happenstance. No, people have to be intentional about that. And I mean, I come from the whole child development world, early childhood. And so even with young children, I think about my neighbors across the street that have a slew of grandkids. And now, you know, when we drive, they wave, their grandparents wave, we wave. When they go for a walk, they stop, we talk, hey, how you doing? Hi. You know, like, they're getting exposed. And I don't feel like, you know, oh, we're like, we have to volunteer to expose ourselves to them. But I recognize that there's a lot of children that don't look like me that have never interacted with a person that looks like me. And they need to.
And their parents may not have either.
That's right. That's right. And it's their parents need to be responsible for that. But if I'm in that, if you're in my presence, I'm going to smile at you. I'm going to talk to you. You're going to get to know me, because that's how we break those walls down. Yeah. Right. And that's how we open up to be able to have the conversations that we need to have in our communities. But, you know, so I'm just like, so, like, my heart is so full for him being so helpful. And he's like, I told Erik that our neighbor, he's like my mom. He's probably like the person that has everything, you know, he's just a satisfied, fulfilled person. So, like, how do you get that person a gift? Right? 'Cause I mean, he literally, they finished. He was like, okay, well, you know, good job, you guys. I know you're excited. And he was just like, bye. And, like, just went home. Yeah. Like, I'm like, get some rest. I mean, I know he was probably really tired, but I was like, get some rest. But there was nothing in his demeanor that was like, all right, you know, you give me some gas money. Yeah, nothing. He just went home. Yeah. So I do have some ideas of some gifts to give him. That I think he'll really appreciate. But yeah, that's just like that really blessed us. I know that isn't necessarily about marriage, but I think you need people in your life, right? You need to be in an environment, in a community that does, I think, honor and respect your relationship, you know, and also kind of give you the space to, like, have some joy so that you can, you know, have a great relationship. Because he jokes around with us about each other too. And so he sees that, you know, we have a loving relationship, and so he makes comments about that, and he does too with his wife. And so just having, you know, those people to talk to, you know, in our immediate vicinity is a great feeling. It is a great feeling. So yeah. You said you're tired? A
little bit. You know, I didn't take a nap on purpose earlier today. I fell asleep watching something.
Oh,
so that's kind of.
And I was going shopping.
Yeah, I was trying to watch. I was like, I need to watch a movie. I need to do this and that and other. I should have just went into bed and laid down.
Rested. Because he worked very hard. So
yeah,
I'm
I burned a
very
lot of
proud.
calories. I burned a lot of calories lifting and shoveling, but it's worth it.
Yes.
Anything for you.
Anything?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
well, our anniversary is coming up, so we'll see.
Nah, but it's it's definitely worth it. Me and actually Scott, we were talking about that it's worth seeing our spouses smile and like every time we came back with another load of dirt and compost. Scott said every time we pull in the driveway, her smile gets bigger and bigger.
It did.
Yeah. She popped out there like, oh, like it's just dirt.
It's not just dirt.
Compost.
It's beautiful.
It's old leaves
dirt.
that have been turned and all that.
And I have my hands in it, but that's so true. Like every time they pulled up, there was, I think the fourth time you guys pulled up, I was, I had to go use the restroom, and my watch, the ring camera went off, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm like trying to hurry up and finish because I knew you guys were coming with more dirt, and I came outside and I just had like this big grin on my face, like, you got more dirt? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So if you don't already, you need to follow Candace_cultivates on Instagram because you're gonna see a lot of gardening this summer. It's gonna be off the chain, so you need to check it out.
Yes, and on Facebook, I do have a group called Grow Sis Grow, and that's
say that again. You said that kind of fast.
Grow Sis Grow, like cheering.
Grow sis grow. Yeah, like that.
Yes.
Grow sis grow.
Sorry, Grow Sis Grow. But it's also for, those of you who are interested in gardening, or maybe you are experienced, to also share, your experiences too. I want to I build a community of those of us primarily that are here in Minnesota, maybe the upper Midwest, because we have we have our own growing season, just like everyone else does. And so for us to kind of, have some space to kind of share tips and celebrate each other. So you can follow me on Facebook too. Yeah. Join that group.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and finally get to our marriage fun fact. We did things a little bit differently today.
I know.
A little bit of a different flow, but it's all good. So the fun fact, and Candace hasn't heard this, so it says that words form only 7% of our communication with anyone, including spouses.
Wow.
Tone of voice accounts for 38%, and body language is responsible for 55% of the messages spouses receive from each other.
Half of what you say with your body. And a third, you said 30 what?
38 is from the tone of voice.
Yeah. A little over a third is from your tone.
Mm-hmm. And only 7% from the actual words you speak.
Wow.
Ain't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. It's true. I mean, I can understand. Mm-hmm. We had a little disagreement earlier, and I'm pretty sure my tone and body language spoke louder than what was coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, that maybe me too. Yeah. I mean,
See, y'all, we trying to be real, okay?
Yeah,
we just being real.
We're not perfect.
No, but that's good to know, though. I mean, because I think sometimes...
And I didn't pull this one up just because I had put this list together earlier in the day.
No, I believe you. No, I believe you because the way you shared it, I could tell you weren't like, well, the tone.
The 7%?
No. But it was good, though. I mean, that is good because I think we do also hear a lot of people say, like, you need to watch your words, be mindful of what you say, but you also need to be mindful of how you say it and how you show it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, even things that are positive, right? It's not just about like when you're making challenging or negative statements to your spouse, but even positive statements, right? That's why sometimes you can say, I love you, but the other person will feel like you don't. Because maybe your tone and maybe your body language don't say that. They don't say, I love you. Or they don't show, you being considerate or compassionate. or they don't exude the passion that you say you have for the other person because like you're being standoffish or, something like that. So that is really powerful that, and as, I make faces. I make faces.
Do I make faces?
Yes.
But
I mean,
I know. Yeah, there's sometimes I get a little weird, but I just can't imagine how my face looks.
You do. But I am also my mother's child, and she has plenty faces, and I have plenty of them too. But I think that the whole wear your emotions on your sleeve, like some people can stuff them in, but I still see. I think even when you do that, even when you try to act like everything is okay, your body still speaks. Like your body language will still show it. And I think that's what happens to me sometimes. Like earlier, I was like, no, fine. I mean, yeah, okay. I get it. Like, I get what you said. And my whole face and my body language was like not saying, okay, it's fine. I get what you're saying. Like, it was just like saying something different. And so that, I think, and then that creates a different energy between the two of you because you hear what I'm saying, but I look different. So then in your mind, you're like,
That's why I was like, do you really understand what I'm saying?
Right. And see, and even when you said that, I wasn't necessarily, I wasn't equating that with you interpreting my body language, right? Or my facial expressions. I'm just thinking you're asking me, well, do you really understand what I'm saying? Because I said I did, but maybe you think I didn't.
Yeah.
So there's also just how that can impact like the understanding and communication between two people, right? Now, and I mean, nobody's perfect, like you said. So it's not like you're going to be like, well, your body language is telling me that. Looking at your body language, I don't.
And the tone of voice that you use.
Yes, I don't think.
38%.
Right. Like, do we really want to tell black women about their tone of voice? Like, sometimes we can, but not 99% of the time. Maybe not. But also, so you saw something, and so you responded in that way. But because I was also, my body language and my tone didn't necessarily match what I was saying, the communication it gets jumbled. Yeah. It doesn't blend. Because I'm thinking one thing, I'm showing another. You're interpreting what you see. Doesn't necessarily mean that what he's interpreting is what I'm putting off. But you're interpreting one thing, so then you're responding in that to that. Right. So it just creates more. But we can, I think the other piece, I don't want to excuse people from not developing deeper communication skills. Because it isn't, impossible to get to that place where you can be more clear and specific with your spouse about what you see and hear. Yeah. So, yeah, we're joking and saying it's not like you're going to be like, well, your body language. But when you learn about that and you understand that my spouse is not only speaking with their mouth, but they are speaking with their tone and with their body, there will come a time and opportunity where you grow to the place where then you can say, I know that's what you said. Yeah. But it doesn't look like that. Help me understand. Yeah. Now, did I say, well, I know that's what you said, but that's not what you look like. No, because then that my tone. Yeah. Then it's my tone.
38% of what your tone is.
It's my tone and my body language. So then I have to ground myself. Right. And be like, I know that's what you said. Help me understand, because it kind of seems maybe like your body language is not agreeing. Right. You seem a little tense. But I know you said you were okay. Are you sure? So there are skills we can develop in communicating that will help your spouse understand your body language, help you to get clarity on their tone, because we also don't want to make assumptions. Right. So we're saying half of your communication is your body language, 40% is your tone, that doesn't give the other person liberty to interpret and assume what those things mean. Mm-hmm. You need to get understanding. Right? And all you're getting of the wisdom that we're supposed to have, you need to get understanding.
Yeah.
And we do that by asking questions. Mm-hmm. But in your relationship with your spouse, when you sense that the body language and the tone is not congruent with the language they're speaking, that is your opportunity to ask questions.
Yeah.
Because the other thing we do is we walk away and we don't ask questions. And then we're in here and we're like, oh, well, I mean, he said that, but he was looking like, and then, I mean, I don't know what he was thinking, talking to me like that. And then we get all the way over here thinking that you talk to me like that intentionally. Mm-hmm. You use that tone with me intentionally because you were trying to do X, Y, and Z. Mm. We go way off, both men and women. Yeah. We go way off in here, up in here, because we aren't doing this. Yeah, we aren't asking questions, and it's a challenge if you're not used to it. If you're not used to getting that kind of clarity and understanding, or coming back to the conversation and saying, "Look, I know that's what you said earlier, but we still have to talk about this because I feel like you said that, but then like." When you walked away, you were like frowning and whatever. Like, be as specific as you can be. And it's one of my like favorite things from Brene Brown. Her mantra: clear is kind, unclear is unkind. So the more I can ask, the more questions I can ask you about what I'm seeing, the better, because that helps me to be clear. That helps you to be clear. And the other thing is, don't judge what the other person says. So if you read my body language and you think, okay, well, are you sure you understood what I'm saying? Because like your body language, you kind of just look like you're just trying to be done with this conversation. If I say, no, I really do understand what you're saying. I do. And I just want to be done with the conversation, not because I'm trying to cut you off. I just don't want us to argue. Take it for what it is. And don't say, well, no, that's not true. Well, I don't really think you understand. Because then you're just inviting more conflict. Maybe you need to come back to it at another time. Yeah. And sit and think about and reflect. What did I see? Ask the Lord. What did she say? What did I say? Where did we miss each other? Maybe we were saying the same thing, but that happens to us sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes we both are saying the same thing, just differently, and we just want our way to be the way. Because
the way we process things and information they're different. So the way I come to this conclusion is different from how she can come to this conclusion. So, but it's the same conclusion a lot of times. So, and
I just want you to come to my conclusion.
Right. Yeah. I want you to come to the conclusion like I did.
Exactly. I mean, isn't that fair?
Yeah. Because I'm right.
See? But that is a good fact. So over half of your communication with your spouse is your body language. Mm-hmm. Let's flip it. So when I want you to know that I love you, when I want you to know that like, you look good, or when I know that you need to be complimented, and I just say, oh, you look nice.
You look good, and just walk out the door.
Yeah. Or hey, honey, how do you think this looks? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Now, if you were looking straight at me and you're like, oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. See, that's different. Yeah. Same words. Yeah. Same words. Yeah. Different tone. The body language is different.
Or what it feels like, that's cool. It's right. Like, but what?
Yeah. So different tone, right? Different tone. So like that's a good example because the words have very little weight. Mm-hmm. Depending on, but it's what they're coupled with. Right. the tone they're coupled with, the body language, that makes all the difference. Mm-hmm. We said it 3 different ways, and it definitely felt different.
Yeah.
3 different ways.
Yeah.
So it isn't just what you say, but how you say it.
Yeah.
And the body language behind it.
Yeah.
How do you show your spouse that you love them? How do you show them that you appreciate what they do for you? Show them with your body, language, and with your body. Okay.
That's what I'm talking about, with your body.
Yeah.
Show me.
Oh my gosh. I do appreciate his appetite. Trust me. I really do.
I know. I always find a way to take it there.
He does.
Sorry.
He
no,
does.
I'm not sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Yes. I just find a way to take it there.
Because like,
that's my reality, my truth.
Right. What is one of your favorite scriptures about enjoying the wife of your youth?
Oh, yes. The Bible's, what does it say?
Sorry, I put him on the spot.
I know. I need to be in the word. But basically, it's that I will rejoice. I will always rejoice with the wife of my youth. Mm-hmm. And it says something about her breast satisfying you or something too, I think. It's in Proverbs. I can't remember the chapter and verse right now, but okay. I'll get it to you if you want it.
Yes.
Yeah, but I will always rejoice with the wife of my youth.
Yes.
Amen.
So I appreciate the appetite. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I know he means it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Because his tone and his body language show it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I'm
serious about it.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you want to add?
No, I mean, we don't have to continue to talk about this too much, but it just reminded me of that clip that I posted on our page from Iyanla, Fix My Life.
Oh, yeah.
And we're big fans of Iyanla, and this is her last season, and it's just not okay. We're not okay about that. But if you want to just go back, a couple days ago, I posted it on the Holy Matrimony Facebook site, where Iyanla gives a demonstration of how a better way for a wife to speak to her husband to get him to, change some things. And I was like, man, Iyanla, she almost had that dude ready to risk it all.
Yeah.
I know he felt real good. He was like, yes, man, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Instead of like a different tone of voice.
Right. It was really good example of this point.
Yeah.
That his wife, Iyanla was helping him and his wife. So, of course, she's not going to expect her to I think she had her do that because she knew she was going to speak to him like that.
Yeah.
And her tone and her body language clearly were not demonstrating the point that she was trying to get across. She was speaking down to him. She was pointing at him like this. She said, your children.
Yeah, your children.
And then, the body went, your children.
Yeah, there was neck action.
I didn't bear. So it said it felt negative to him. And then when Iyanla sat down and she was like, no, this is how you do this. And she put her hand on his leg or put his hand on his arm. And she spoke to him, number one, like he was a man, a grown man. And she spoke to him about her concern for his children's well-being, knowing that he wants them the best for them. And literally, if you go back and watch this clip on our page, as soon as Iyanla starts talking to him, he's sitting there like this, and he goes, and he perks up because she caught his attention with how she was talking to him and her body language. And literally, as she's talking, he's like, yeah.
It's almost like what I pulled from it was that when his wife was talking to him, there was a wall. You could almost see a visual wall. Like he was not even listening to her because he just couldn't receive that kind of message. And most men can't, you know what I'm saying? But I think the way Iyanla spoke to him, he really felt like he was loved.
Like she cared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honored and respected, even though he needed to change some things.
Right.
And I think when you communicate with your spouse in a way where they know they're loved, they're going to receive it way differently than if you come at them with accusations or pointing the finger or, you this, you that. If you come at them saying, hey, lovingly, even, I'm concerned about such and such. That lets them know that you're in it with them together.
Right. And the priority of your words is me.
Yeah.
Not you.
Mm-hmm.
Because when she was talking, the priority was her.
Mm-hmm.
She was telling him about his kids, but her priority was herself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel this way. And you got, it was her. She was focused on herself and how she felt and how they don't do. But her love and concern wasn't being shown towards them. Yeah. And like LaToya is saying, maybe some insecurity there and more to unpack. And so because she had that insecurity, she also kind of probably felt like, I got to come on strong. Because if I don't come on strong, you're not going to listen to me. Mm-hmm. But she needed to operate in humility. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, we don't want to be the first to humble ourselves with our spouse. Right. That takes a lot. Humility with your spouse takes strength. Mm-hmm. And it takes you to recognize that I'm not the center of my universe right now. I can make you the priority and talk to you in a way and show concern for you without knowing whether or not I'm going to benefit. Mm-hmm. And her insecurity as it came out was like, well, I gotta put my foot down and like get on you so that you understand my place. Mm-hmm. But it's like, well, you're not showing any concern for his kids. Mm-hmm. Who are your children? Because you help him raise them, right? But yeah, it's a really good example of just this whole fact around your tone and your body language when you're speaking with your spouse. So I really appreciate that because it is a reminder. Mm-hmm. It's a reminder. And I mean, it goes beyond your spouse too. If you have children, they too, they know. The little ones, even the little ones, you say something, but they hear your tone and see your body language. They know the difference. Yeah. They know the difference. And so really, you can model with your spouse what your children should receive and see as quality interactions in a relationship. So if they see your tone and your body language contradicting the words that you're saying or tearing down your spouse, they are going to learn to accept that. Yeah. And they're going to learn to do it.
You don't want that.
Right. So we have to model the humility. We have to model the I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I was wrong. Help me understand. Mm-hmm. I was trying to be right, and that's really not the most important thing here. Right. The important thing is for us to be on one accord and understand each other. Yeah. Right? So, lots of nuggets in there.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it's like a 20-piece. 20-piece McNugget of
I'm like, I ain't had chicken nuggets in like 10 years. Probably.
Now they're all white meat chicken. No, anyway.
They're still fried. Yeah, this is what happens in our house for real. Like, we'll be having just like really good conversations and just totally digress.
Sometimes, gotta break the ice and just, not the ice, but just take it just, somewhere and come back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we appreciate y'all following along with us. But no, this was fantastic. We appreciate you all for joining us, all the comments and, just sharing. And yes, I really want to encourage all of you this week in all of your relationships to think about that. Yeah. Especially if you do have some challenging conversations, if you find yourself like in a disagreement with a loved one, like check your tone. Yeah. Check your body language. What are you doing? In that situation upstairs, when we had our disagreement, and like he said to me, well, do you really understand what I'm saying? I was sitting down and he was kind of like standing by the table, And I was finishing up a piece of cake, and I was like, yeah, I understand. And this is what I was like, yeah, I understand. And I went right down in my cake. Basically, like, don't look at me, please. Stop looking at me. Stop talking to me.
And that's what I mean, you know, we've been married almost 18 years.
Y'all, we getting free live. Look at that.
We've been married 18 years, and so I've learned a lot of things about my wife. I love her so much. But I've learned that she'll say something that will basically let you know, I don't want to talk about this no more.
Without saying I don't want to talk about it.
Right. Yeah. And so I've learned.
Usually it's really snippy, like, yep, I get it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I've learned when she says that, okay, we ain't going to talk about it no more. But, you know, I know she's learned some things about me too. You know, it's part of the journey, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you recognize that. And I'm not saying it's okay for me to do that. But somebody has to be the bigger person in those situations, right? Yeah. Because otherwise we don't get to the place where we can have a meaningful conversation and figure out, okay, what really was going on? Like, what was the issue? If we're still going back and forth and you're like, not recognizing, like, okay, let me just leave her alone. We'll talk about this later. Because otherwise I'm just going to get more irritated. I'm going to just shut down even more. Or vice versa. If I do that, because sometimes I'm that person, you know, that's like, no, you don't understand. But no, you're not listening to me. But no. But I have to be like, okay, fine. Okay. And that's usually, okay, fine. He knows that when I'm like, okay, fine. Then he's like, okay, we're done. We're done. And we'll come back to it later. Yeah. Just so happened that we came back to it later live.
Yeah. But you know what, though? I mean, there's definitely been growth, because, like, something like that would have went a little further in previous years. Like, you know, it would have. I
would have got emotional.
Yeah. We probably wouldn't have had a video tonight.
Yeah.
So after a while, I was just like, okay, so what we gonna talk about? We gonna get down here. Came down here, started setting everything up. It's like, no, this is not gonna stop us from doing what we gotta do tonight.
And I pushed through too. I pushed through because I was walking around like, I pushed through, y'all. Yeah. But before we started, we just held hands and we prayed. Yeah. And that ultimately, in every marriage relationship, you got to get back to, why are we here? Why are we here? You know, and I believe for us that God, you know, wants us to live out our lives and our relationship in a way, not so people can look at us and be like, oh my gosh, you're such a great couple. Man, not the point. Right. So that people can look at us and really see the love of God reflected in our lives for them and understand the relationship that he wants to have with them. And sometimes our relationship with the Father is a challenge, not because he's the one with the tone or the body language, because we are. Because sometimes he's speaking to us and we're like, yeah, I know what you mean. And we go right back to that piece of cake. And what does he say? Okay, we'll talk about this later. Yeah. And he going right on about his business, taking care of us, covering us with grace. And what happened? That the truth smacks us right in the face later on. Oh God, I'm sorry. Thank you. Same thing. So that's powerful for us, because yes, we have grown, but we also understand we will still make mistakes. Yeah. But we know that we'll make the mistakes, but God will be there to help us correct them, so that we can share them and be transparent with all of you about what those mistakes look like. Yeah. And
holy matrimony.
Holy. Yep. Because we want to be whole in our relationships. And that means we talk about it all. Yeah. We talk about it all. Yeah. So I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful because, you know, you're right. Back a couple years ago, I'd have been like, I'm going to bed. Or I would have just looked at him long enough where he would have known we're not doing this tonight.
Ain't gonna be no video tonight.
But thank God for the voice of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
You know, to say, go get your lip gloss. Go downstairs. Put your other glasses on. Come, get the chair. Come on, get the chair.
Why'd you change your glasses?
Oh, the other ones slide too much.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ask your husband if he wants to pray. And he prayed a prayer, and I believe God answered that tonight.
Yeah.
As we sat here talking to you, and the prayer wasn't for us; it was for y'all. Because one thing, even in the midst of your challenges and your conflicts as a couple, you're still a living witness to other people.
Yeah.
And you can still be a powerful witness, even in the midst of what you and your spouse may be struggling with. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to put on a front and try to act like everything is okay, everything we good. I'm not saying you got to go tell all your business, but you also don't have to front and act like you're perfect. Because people need to see that you're not.
Right.
They need to see how you overcame. How you made it. How after 18 years we can have a disagreement. We can okay, just cool it for a minute, and we can still get it done and get free while we're doing it.
Right.
Get free, because now we don't even need to have a conversation after this is over. Because we just got free. Yeah. Sitting here. For real. We're going to talk about it in terms of reflecting.
Right.
But we don't need to finish dealing with it after this. And that's the place that God wants to get us to as couples, where he wants to get us through those things quicker so that we can be a benefit to other people. Yeah. And we can share our stories with them. Because there were many nights where you don't understand. You're not listening to me. Me. Y'all probably looking at me like, Candace? Yes. The tears of manipulation were flowing. Yes, they were. And some of them were genuine. But some of them were just very they were just, filled with manipulation. Oh, I'm about to make him sad. I'm going to make him say he's sorry. But hey, we're better now.
Yeah. And it's not like I was perfect either.
Yeah.
I think my thing that was, maybe you have a different take on it, but I would just kind of hold stuff back a lot, and it would fester and what's that? What do you do with wine? Ferment even.
Ooh, wait.
Ferment. Where it starts to kind of,
yeah,
and then it just comes out, and then she was probably like, "What the heck? Where'd that come from?"
I'm like, "Do you know what today is?" That was 3 weeks ago. What? But we learn, we grow, we hold each other accountable. We also, have other people that hold us accountable, and ultimately, God holds us accountable. Yeah. And we have to decide to do different. Yes. You got to decide to do different. Yeah. So I'm just really grateful. I'm grateful for you.
Me too. I'm grateful for you too.
For putting up with me.
Likewise. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
This is my special lady, my superstar.
Your super estrella?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight, and we really hope that you got something out of this, and we encourage you, please share this video, please share our page, invite people to like the page, because we want to be a blessing, and we just want to share what we've been given with all of you, so that you can live holy, WHOLLY, and holy, HOLY. In your matrimony, in your marriage. So thank you. Don't forget, like Eric said, you can follow both of us on Instagram. I am there as Candace_cultivates.
And I'm Yaktastic1. That's YAKKTASTIC1.
Yes. And we are also on YouTube as Holy Matrimony, WHOLLY Matrimony. And same name on pretty much all major podcast platforms.
Yep.
So thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful week.
Peace out. Thank y'all.
Watch your body language. Watch your tone.
Watch your tone.
Tell each other you love each other. Kiss each other. Good night and good morning.
Yep. Get all up on each other. Everything.
See how we ain't finna go there. Good night, y'all.
Peace out, y'all. Thanks for listening to Holy Matrimony with Erik and Candace Yates. Don't forget to subscribe. We want you to be notified of all of our new content. Take care.